We begin March, and as such, we are ready to pay tribute to all the women who fought for equality. Welcome to Feedback Learnex. I'm Natalie, your host at beautiful Esperanza Apartments here in San Antonio, Texas. Every Thursday, we bring you the best topics. So in order to continue to support you in your journey of learning the English language, subscribe to our channel for more tips and helping you learn English that will last a lifetime. Let's begin. What is the role of women today? March is a very feminine month, since it is a month when we commemorate a very special day for women worldwide, March 8th, International Women's Day. A date that dignifies, vindicates, and especially remembers with admiration and gratitude all those women who fought, demanded from, and transformed the world, risking their own lives in the fight for gender equality in all aspects: social, political, legal, economic, and family. The woman in history. In Greece, the woman was seen as a man but incomplete and weak, according to the philosopher Aristotle. In Rome, women could not participate in political and civic life. In addition, they did not have their own name, unwanted girls were abandoned at birth, and condemned to slavery if they managed to survive. During the Middle Ages, there were greater job opportunities for women in the workforce. However, the conditions of gender inferiority were maintained in terms of the control and power of men over women, and it came with a huge gap in the salary each gender received. At the end of the 15th century, the economic crisis generated great transformations, negatively affecting women, where education began to belong only to men, excluding women from universities and distancing them from the professions they were intended to carry out, directing their focus to the family environment only. Justice for all? In 1789, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen was created, achieving a social context where the rights of everyone were cared for and promoted, except for women. This situation was not indifferent to Marie Gauss, a woman who presented the Declaration of the Rights of Woman and the Female Citizen a year later. In 1792, Mary Wollstonecraft published Vindication of the Rights of Woman. Undoubtedly, two examples of brave and strong women who faced a very harsh context for the time, in which instead of being silent, they risked their own voice to start a revolution for equality and respect for our rights. In the 19th century, the industrialization process brought with it great transformations. Women acquired work in textile factories and were exploited with unnatural 16-hour days, unjustified firings, absence of healthcare or job security. A clear example of exploitation occurred at the Triangle Shirtwaist Shirt Factory in New York, where a disaster occurred, causing the death of 146 textile workers who died from burns and smoke inhalation. The tragedy was due to the impossibility of leaving the burning building, since those responsible for the factory had locked all the doors for fire escapes and emergency exits to prevent depth and altercations. This unfortunate event forced to carry out important legislative changes in the labor and industrial health and safety regulations. It was also the trigger for the creation of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, with the aim of seeking better working conditions for women. In the 20th century, times and social structures began to change for women due to their massive incorporation into the workforce. Ironically, thanks to the two world wars, since men went overseas to fight in the wars, women had to stay in charge of work, and not only for their house, we became a key factor in the economy of these times. The Great Liberation. If we analyze the progress of women and equality over time, we can realize that not long ago, the woman still had to request the husband's permission to practice a profession, enroll in a university, take an exam, open a bank account, apply for a passport, a driving license, among other limitations, which made me reflect on the little time that has really passed since the liberation. While it is true the time elapsed for these changes have been relatively short, the process has been intense and has had very productive advances in favor of women. Women of the 21st century in the world. Due to the culture, progress towards the path of equality of Western women is superior to that of Eastern women. A clear example is the story of Waris Dirie, the beautiful Somali Muslim model who was genitally mutilated at the age of 3 to be given to a man much older than her at the age of 13 in an arranged marriage, something to which she opposed, and she fled across the desert of the capital of Somalia. Her story made headlines as she was the first woman of color to appear on the cover of Vogue in Europe. The role of women today. The woman of the 21st century is a free woman in search of vindication and female empowerment. The woman of this century chooses what to study, if we live alone or as a couple, if we will have children or not, among thousands of other decisions that were not possible years ago. We have gained ground in economic independence, studies, and professional respect. That is it for today. Our next edition of Feedback Learnex, we are going to have a very interesting topic for you. Psychoanalysis in children's story. I'll be waiting for you then. Remember to subscribe to our channel and visit our webpage at learnex.com.mx. I'm Natalie and I'll see you next week.